The comic book industry is constantly expanding, driven by a thriving and enthusiastic community. This community in Australia is made of two demographics, creators and producers. The interesting dynamic associated with these two groups is how they interact. The opportunity for these consumers to become creators is very realistic, and the success associated with this is astounding. Mitchell Davies is a co-owner of the prominent Melbourne-based store All Star Comics, and also an avid comic book fan. He talked to us recently about the community in an interview.
The current state of comics locally produced here in Australia is really actually quite impressive. There seems to have been ebbs and flows of it in the years gone by, and we're currently in this sort of, it feels like, I want to go as far as saying it's sort of like a golden age of locally produced stuff, but it's really impressive to see sort of how well the community sort of banded together, especially here in Melbourne, producing, there's just literally like hundreds of books being sort of made, which is great, and even more so, not just for the fact that there's a strong community of creators, but the fact that there's actually an audience at the moment wanting to actually buy that stuff, which is, even more impressive.
Never looking back. Resistance is impossible.
There are various factors contributing to the expansion of this evolving community. With more Marvel and DC movies being released resulting in wild popularity, the comic books have begun to sell even more. While this may be seen as a threat to the industry, the exposure to the storyline and characters has sparked further interest in the comics, benefiting this expansion of the community.
Let us be the sweet children of you.
Let's start a war, let's start a war, let's start a war, let's start a war, let's start a war.
The community has been trending to tendencies of using online sources to acquire their reading materials. The implications of this would theoretically lead to a decline in the sales of physical copies of comics, and resulting in a heavy online focus following. This, however, is not necessarily the case.
Online sales of comics for us haven't, at this point in time, seemed to work against our business. We always, people talk about they come into the store and they'll say, I feel really bad because I've been buying this comic digitally, and I should be. And it's like it's not the case at all, because being able to have the access to books digitally means that people can trial books without the commitment of having the physical copy sort of weighing down their collection, and obviously is a cheaper option. What we generally find with most of our customers and readers is that people will try the digital, and if they really dig it, they'll end up actually committing to coming back and probably buying the trade collection of that same title. Seems odd that people are, might be doubling up in that sense, but at the same time, it's sort of, there is still that collectability aspect of having the actual physical copy in your hands. So by no stretch do we see sort of digital at this point in time as a threat sort of to our business, that's for sure.
The collecting of comic books is a keen hobby for many members of the community. One way to embrace this, get a feel for how the industry works and how the community interacts, is to attend Free Comic Book Day. The biggest day of the year for comic books has a huge turnout and is open to everyone.
So Free Comic Book Day this year falls on May 3rd, which is the first Saturday in May. It's always the first Saturday in May. It's a worldwide event, which is fantastic, and it's been running for over 10 years now. We give away like thousands of comics sort of throughout the day, normally letting anybody pick it's like 5 to 8 of the 50 or so books that are on selection, probably 50 plus books that are on selection. We generally sort of dress up in costume. There's normally a theme of some description, and we don't sort of reveal that until the day, so it's a lot of fun just coming down and seeing what we're dressed up as. We run a competition for best dressed as well if people want to come along in costume, which is great. And then after that we have an artist alley sort of thing going on with a whole bunch of local artists, and it's I think about probably over 30 local artists throughout the day. So free comics, free artwork, it's an awesome day, it's a lot of fun.
The community for comic books is thriving. The enthusiastic fan base across multiple comic book mediums is constantly expanding, and accessibility is becoming easier. There are no signs of the industry and community slowing down and fizzling out. The future for comic book culture is looking very positive. Thank you for watching our mini documentary, and if you yourself are looking to break into the comic book community and you live in the Melbourne area, I highly suggest visiting All Star Comics, Minotaur, or Comics R Us.